So, y'all seen on the last video how some people were saying that video was biased.
Well, it was like a quick rundown.
I didn't see that many people saying that.
I saw people saying like, oh, it kind of skims over the history, but I don't think people understand what like a brief history means. You understand
10
what
minute
brief means?
Yeah.
Like a quick rundown.
This one, people are saying is better. This is a bigger channel, you know.
Vox, yeah, they're a news platform. I used to read some stuff on the conflict on their website.
So everybody got their own agenda, huh?
Yeah, they said that video was kind of more Israel biased.
Well, I don't know why. They were only saying that because the video didn't go into detail on anything. It just gave you a quick, brief history.
That too. But you know, a lot of people.
It was 10 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
hey, I don't know. Let's see if this was better. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see.
All right. Another thing they said is just let the video play.
Yeah.
Rather than stopping it so much.
I'm gonna let it play the whole time. I'm not gonna ask any questions.
Let's ask questions.
All my questions are pretty much answered. Not all of them, but.
One of the biggest myths about the Israel-Palestine conflict is that it's been going on for centuries, all about ancient religious hatreds. In fact, while religion is involved, conflict's mostly about two groups of people who claim the same land, and it really only goes back about a century to the early 1900s. Around then, the region along the eastern Mediterranean we now call Israel-Palestine, been under Ottoman rule for centuries, was religiously diverse, including mostly Muslims and Christians, also a small number of Jews who lived generally in peace. It was changing in two important ways. First, more people in the region were developing a sense of being not just ethnic Arabs, but Palestinians, a distinct national identity. At the same time, not so far away in Europe, more Jews were joining a movement called Zionism, which said that Judaism was not just a religion, but a nationality, one that deserved a nation of its own. And after centuries of persecution, many believed a Jewish state was their only way of safety and saw their historic homeland in the Middle East as their best hope for establishing it. In the first decades of the 20th century, tens of thousands of European Jews moved there. After World War I, the Ottoman Empire collapsed, and British and French empires carved up the Middle East, the British taking control of a region it called the British Mandate for Palestine. At first, the British allowed Jewish immigration, but as more Jews arrived, settling into farming communities, tension between Jews and Arabs grew. Both sides committed acts of violence, and by the 1930s, the British began limiting Jewish immigration. In response, Jewish militias formed to fight both the local Arabs and to resist British rule. Then came the Holocaust, leading many more Jews to flee Europe for British Palestine and galvanizing much of the world in support of a Jewish state. In 1947, as sectarian violence between Jews and Arabs there grew, the United Nations approved a plan to divide British Palestine into two separate states. One for Jews, Israel, and one for Arabs, Palestine. The city of Jerusalem, where Jews, Muslims, and Christians all have holy sites, was to become a special international zone. The plan was meant to give Jews a state, to establish Palestinian independence, and to end the sectarian violence that the British could no longer control. The Jews accepted the plan, and they declared independence as Israel. But Arabs throughout the region saw the UN plan as just more European colonialism trying to steal their land. Many of the Arab states, who had just recently won independence themselves, declared war on Israel in an effort to establish a unified Arab Palestine where all of British Palestine had been. The new state of Israel won the war. But in the process, they pushed well past their borders under the...
No, we gotta stop it for copyright purposes. Any questions?
Let me scratch my nuts real quick. Okay. Take that out. I was fighting that for a minute.
The thing gonna cover you.
The video proof and stuff is cool.
No, yeah, this actually, I like the way like the motions are better on this video for sure.
It's way better, and it gives you like a proof, like the physical proof.
Yeah, I like the pictures. That was cool.
Did y'all peep that the Israels was fighting against the British as well?
Yeah, we like that.
I mean, yesterday y'all was like they didn't.
No, we didn't say that.
They said they was trying to police the region, like decide who can come in and who can't.
You meant fight like war?
Yeah, they was fighting against each other. They was fighting against everybody. They was fighting against the British. They was fighting against the Muslims, and they were just defending themselves.
The British, I forgot.
We heard yesterday that the British was like fighting who could come in, and they left because the fighting
too out of control.
They left because the fighting between the Israelis and the Arabs.
It was World War II. That's why they left.
World War II happened after World War II.
I think that's what it said in the video. It says the Holocaust came, so that was World War II.
Yeah, but that happened. But they were fighting after though. It was like 1947. World War II in Germany ended in 44. We dropped the nuke on Japan and them in 45. So that was all done.
You was saying because it got the beef between them was too bad.
Yeah, the beef between the Arabs and the Jews was bad.
So they had to get out of that.
So it was like we ain't finna do another one.
This picture right here, wait, where was it at?
America as far as, that means we were supporting them.
Yeah.
In 1947, as sectarian violence between Jews and Arabs there grew, the United Nations approved a plan to divide British Palestine into two separate states. One for Jews, Israel, and one for Arabs, Palestine. The city of Jerusalem, where Jews, Muslims, and Christians all have holy sites, was to become a special international zone. The plan was meant to give Jews a state, to establish Palestinian independence, and to end the sectarian violence that the British could no longer control. The Jews accepted the plan, and they declared independence as Israel.
1947.
But Arabs throughout the
That's
region
crazy.
saw the UN plan as just more European colonialism trying to steal their land. Many of the Arab states, who had just recently won independence themselves, declared war on Israel in an effort to establish a unified Arab Palestine where all of British Palestine had been. The new state of Israel won the war, but in the process, they pushed well past their borders under the UN plan, taking the western half of Jerusalem and much of the land that was to have been part of Palestine. They also expelled huge numbers of Palestinians from their homes, creating a massive refugee population whose descendants today number about 7 million. At the end of the war,
7 million?
Israel controlled all of the territory except for Gaza, which Egypt controlled, and the West Bank, named because it's west of the Jordan River, which Jordan controlled. This was the beginning of the decades-long Arab-Israeli conflict. During this period, many Jews in Arab-majority countries fled or were expelled, arriving in Israel. Then something happened that transformed the conflict. In 1967, Israel and the neighboring Arab states fought another war. When it ended, Israel had seized the Golan Heights from Syria, the West Bank from Jordan, and both Gaza and the Sinai Peninsula from Egypt.
Damn.
Israel was now occupying the Palestinian territories, including all of Jerusalem and its holy sites. This left Israel responsible for governing the Palestinians, a people it had fought for decades. In 1978, Israel and Egypt signed the U.S.-brokered Camp David Accords. Shortly after that, Israel gave Sinai back to Egypt as part of the peace treaty. At the time, this was hugely controversial in the Arab world. Egyptian President Anwar Sadat was assassinated in part because of outrage against it. But it marked the beginning of the end of the wider Arab-Israeli conflict. Over the next few decades, the other Arab states gradually made peace with Israel, even if they never signed formal peace treaties. But Israel's military was still occupying the Palestinian territories of the West Bank and Gaza, and this is when the conflict became an Israeli-Palestinian struggle. The Palestinian Liberation Organization, which had formed in the 1960s to seek a Palestinian state, fought against Israel, including through acts of terrorism. Initially, the PLO claimed all of what had been British Palestine, meaning it wanted to end the state of Israel entirely. Fighting between Israel and the PLO went on for years, even including a 1982 Israeli invasion of Lebanon to kick the group out of Beirut.
The stillness of the ceasefire in southern Lebanon was shattered today by the sound of guns, bombs, and planes.
The PLO later said it would accept dividing the land between Israel and Palestine, but the conflict continued. As all of this was happening, something dramatic was changing in the Israel-occupied Palestinian territories. Israelis were moving in. These people are called settlers, and they made their homes in the West Bank and Gaza, whether Palestinians wanted them or not. Some moved for religious reasons, some because they want to claim the land for Israel, some just because the housing is cheap, often subsidized by the Israeli government. Some settlements are cities with thousands of people, others are small communities deep into the West Bank.
If you've always felt a deep yearning for Jerusalem, now is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, not only to stand within its
those were a
gates, but
commercial.
also to build the home of your dreams there.
Settlers are followed by soldiers to guard them, and growing settlements force Palestinians.
Now,
Some often subsidized by the Israeli government. Some settlements are cities with thousands of people, others are small communities deep into the West Bank.
if you've always felt a deep yearning for Jerusalem, now is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity not only to stand within its gates, but also to build the
I do want to say, though, that they were saying that there are Palestinian Christians and there are Jewish Christians.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yes. On the last video, I would like to correct myself. When we were talking about why they all the nations attacked Israel, I said they're Islamic nations. I meant to say Arab.
Okay, yes.
So I seen how people was offended at what I said. I didn't mean it like that. I meant to say they're all Arab. I meant to say they all had stuff in common.
We need to do like a Muslim history lesson or something like that, because I don't know anything about like their book or anything at all.
About the Quran?
Yeah.
Palestinian territories. Israelis were moving in. These people are called settlers, and they made their homes in the West Bank and Gaza, whether Palestinians wanted them or not. Some moved for religious reasons.
Why did they do
some
that?
Because they want to claim the land for Israel.
Yeah.
Some just because the housing is cheap, often subsidized by the Israeli government.
Okay.
Some settlements are cities with thousands of people. Others are small communities deep into the West Bank.
If you've always felt a deep yearning for Jerusalem, now is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity not only to stand within its gates, but also to build.
That's why some people are okay with the one.
Settlers are followed by soldiers to guard
solution.
them, and the growing settlements force Palestinians off of their land and divide communities. Short term, they make the occupation much more painful for Palestinians. Long term, by dividing up Palestinian land, they make it much more difficult for the Palestinians to ever have an independent state. Today, there are several 100,000 settlers in occupied territory, even though the international community considers them illegal. By the late 1980s, Palestinian frustration exploded into the intifada, which is the Arabic word for uprising. It began with mostly protests and boycotts, but soon became violent. Israel responded with heavy force.
6 years.
A couple hundred Israelis, over 1,000 Palestinians died in the first intifada.
Wow.
Them young kids, man.
Around the same time, a group of Palestinians in Gaza, who considered the PLO too secular, too compromise-minded, created Hamas, a violent extremist group dedicated to Israel's destruction. By the early 1990s, it's clear that Israelis and Palestinians have to make peace. The leaders from both sides signed the Oslo Accords. This is meant to be the big first step toward Israel maybe someday withdrawing from the Palestinian territories and allowing an independent Palestine. The Oslo Accords established the Palestinian Authority, allowing Palestinians a little bit of freedom to govern themselves in certain areas.
See, that's the problem.
Hardliners on both sides opposed the Oslo Accords. Members of Hamas launched suicide bombings to try to sabotage the process.
Goodness gracious.
The Israeli right protests peace talks with ralliers calling Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin a traitor and a Nazi. Not long after Rabin signs the second round of Oslo Accords, a far-right Israeli shoots him to death in Tel Aviv.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, okay, now it's all clicking in my brain. Free Palestine from Israel under their government.
Yeah.
Okay. I think they just say scream free Palestine because, you know, they're being just harmed.
I think they're meaning like free the whole land. I thought that's what that meant.
Yeah, but it seems like they're not letting them have their own government, you know, so because Israel's, you know, controlling the West Bank and that, you know, they want their own stuff, basically.
I'm not really understanding. I don't really understand.
But it doesn't make sense because would they govern all, like, the only solution I see is either
the two-state or the
Israel.
One
yeah,
state.
yeah.
That's only.
Honestly, but what they want is for them to basically be in the position that Israel is in, I guess, right? Because they don't want the two.
I think so.
Yeah, they basically want to have their own country.
Okay, yeah. So if they if they do the two-state solution and they have their own country, which they offered, but that wasn't what they.
I don't understand how.
I don't want to misspeak, but from what I've learned, that's not what they wanted.
Y'all might say I'm a butthole for saying this.
I don't really understand how Israel got settlers in the West Bank if Israel has more land. Why would they go settle?
Y'all might say I'm a butthole for saying this.
Good time to say this though.
They won that land though.
Cheap and a lot of stuff.
They won that land.
We have a lot of people. Hold on, I'm gonna say this though. We have a lot of people that want to come on.
I don't understand how that makes sense all the way. But
we have people that want to. Let me tell them right quick though. We have a lot of people that want to come on and talk about this situation. We're going to start doing that. We have a guy coming. You know, this coming Thursday. Video will probably drop. You know, maybe Friday. He's gonna tell like all the questions we have. He thinks he has the answers, so he's gonna tell us what we have, the questions we have.
I just got one thing to say, and I might be messed up for saying this. Lord, forgive me. But they fought for that land, and they was actually being nice enough to actually make it a two-party land to share that land. They could have just said,
they feel like
them,
they've been there for centuries.
But they could have. They won. They won the land. Like at the end of the day, they fought and preserve that land. They could have been some buttholes and said, "F y'all, get out of this. This all of Israel." So they try to make a two-party.
I don't know if I've seen this right, but in this video, it kind of seemed in the other video that it seemed like the Jews were there first. Didn't it not seem like that?
But he even said
But he even said he said that it was a Palestinian.
That was the timeline. In that same breath, he also said the Jewish to their original homeland.
No, they both have homeland there. They both have homeland there.
That's a fact.
Literally, all religions have. We have a homeland there as Christians. Muslims do. And
That's
Jewish
the
people.
issue.
So we can't really say
That's the
it's
issue.
their homeland. It's their. We all have homeland
exactly.
there.
How are they in Europe?
Through a religious
though?
person.
How are a lot of them in Europe though?
That's not. That's where they was at. They moved there.
Yeah, that's where
Why
they're
is
at.
black people
Why did
here?
they move
That's where
from-
they
why
at.
did
There's
they
black
move-
people in Europe too.
From there to there.
Because
to
they
Europe.
wanted to find somewhere where they would be free from persecution.
Oh yeah.
So
can
were
you
they getting
remember?
persecuted in Jerusalem?
Yeah,
They
almost?
were being
Remember
persecuted
the video
in Europe.
yesterday?
Nigga, the Holocaust.
I know, but that's what I'm saying.
Before that.
They left and they said
He's talking about before that. Well, how'd they get to Europe?
Yes.
They went to
How did
Europe
they
to
go
start
there?
Zionism. That's what I said on the video.
So that's what I'm saying. So what Palestinian was people there first.
in the video
Zionism was
yesterday,
created in like behind Israel, but they were in Europe. Because there's religious people, there's Jewish people everywhere.
Yeah,
there was just a
But
large population.
to answer your question,
there was a large population of Jewish people in Europe. They were being persecuted. As you see, 6 million Jewish people
they
died.
went
he understands that. He understands that.
Zionism basically
He
they wanted a
understands that
Jewish
too.
state to protect them from persecution, which is why lots of them started coming from Europe to the homeland in
You're explaining
Israel.
he's asking us how did they get to Europe in the first place? He's asking their homeland, their original homeland, Jerusalem. How did they leave that place? And what I'm telling you is, in the video yesterday, it said because of the Roman Empire, they purposely attacked them and wanted them to leave.
Okay, what that meant? Okay, that's what I'm asking.
That's the video.
So they were there
yesterday
first, and then
said. The Roman Empire.
the Palestinians came when the Roman Empire was there, or
They said
were
the
they-
Roman Empire
the
took
Palestinians
over.
were already there.
The Roman
Ottoman.
Empire took over, then the Omen took after.
Ottoman.
Yeah,
Ottoman.
Omen, whatever. And they took, and that's when it got established. And that's what this.
No,
So Palestinians-
after the Ottoman Empire fell.
Yeah, or whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
But I know that, yes, to answer your question, they were persecuted out of that place in the first place.
And Palestinians
According
stayed
to the
there.
video yesterday.
And they stayed there. Palestinians stayed
Well, the
They
area
came
was
in.
called Palestine. So,
Yes.
like, the people whose generations was there over time, they said they started to develop, he said at the beginning of this, they started to develop an identity from being there for generations.
Yeah.
And they call themselves Palestinians.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why they want their own country, because they feel like they've been there for generations. As
Yeah.
we saw on the video, what was that Jubilee video? Kid said,
So basically-
my people have been here for 9 generations.
Yeah.
So that's why they want that land, because they have
And
been
Jewish
there for
people
so
basically
long.
came back because they said that that's their homeland.
That's
And
their
they
religious
fought for
homeland.
that shit.
But so
And they say it is actually not.
From what we've seen.
Yes, we
They
see. That's that
fled. They
shit.
fled. They came from Europe and everywhere else they were being persecuted to the homeland because they needed a place where they could be free from persecution, and that's why they tried to develop Israel, and that's where Zionism comes from, because they believe in the protection and preservation of a Jewish state where they could be safe. That's why they fight so hard for Israel, because that's where they are safe.
Yeah,
That's where
no,
they
I
believe
get
that
that.
they
I
can
get
live
that.
and be Jewish freely and be themselves.
Palestinians
safely.
feel the same way.
Well, the Palestinians feel that way because
They've been there.
They've been there generations.
Yeah.
So
But-
but the problem I think is, so there's some Palestinians there, there were some Jews there.
Yeah.
So maybe there is a chance that they were both there.
Oh,
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely.
So they both think this is our shit. So I think
sure.
I gotta live there together.
Or
Whoever-
fight for it.
I'm
Fight for it. It's
honestly,
only 2 ways to see
Honestly,
it.
I just kind of gathered
It's
like
messed up.
the reason they originally started fighting, in my opinion, from what I'm not gonna say in my opinion, just kind of what I thought was because in the original 2-party solution, Israel got more land and there was less Israelis or less Jewish Israelis, like population wise, than Palestinians, and that's why they said no and started tripping.
Yeah.
Yeah, but didn't that dude come to that agreement?
Yeah, this was before the second intifada.
Okay, yeah. So, but then they were saying that
They
people
gave him
weren't.
more
They was
than-
mad at him
Yeah, because they was tripping
on both sides.
Yeah, they was tripping because the Arabs and Palestinians didn't want to compromise.
Yeah.
and this was a compromise, and they didn't want to compromise after they was tripping
So-
the first time, and they did all that, the suicide bombings and Hamas
Yeah.
and all that. They didn't want to
So,
compromise.
with that being said, what did they want?
they want all of it.
So they wanted to be the governing state, and they wanted Israel just to leave or be under them.
I don't know, honestly. I'm starting to think that they want their own state that's governed by them.
The whole thing, though. No, I'm not trying to like. I
I
actually want to know.
What I've seen is
Honestly,
some people want different things.
That is a big thing.
I've just started to assume that they just want like some land and they want it to be governed by themselves. But do they want the whole thing? Like
that's the problem.
Because
they offer them some land.
That's what Hamas wants.
Yeah, I know Hamas wants the thing. We talking about the peaceful ones. We're not even dealing with Hamas. The peaceful ones, they want some land, right? Okay. Yeah. So if we get them some land, are they good? No.
Why they're not good?
Because they offered them 90% of the land and they said no.
Well, I keep hearing that might be wrong also.
Well, I mean, we saw how much they offered because Israel got 56.5% and Palestine was supposed to receive the other half.
See, but that's what they agreed to.
Guys, no, that's what they said no
hopefully
to.
The guy
and that's what led to the first.
Well, they said no to every damn.
Yeah.
Can
y'all answer that? Why would they say no?
In my opinion, they want the whole thing.
But people have commented already. About why they denied that. We gotta figure that out.
I really would like to know that as well.
I'm gonna keep it.
Why did y'all say no? Because they already Israel already went to war with.
If you want the whole thing, but you know that it's not feasible to get it, wouldn't you take what you can get?
I don't know, man.
I
guess they're just willing to fight for it, like Israel was when they fought off all those Arab nations.
Was it 56?
Do Palestine get their own government?
No, Palestine has no government. Well, so they do. Like, it's the Fatah. And then that's like the Palestinian government in the West Bank, the Fatah.
So they had their own policing.
The Gaza is ruled by Hamas. We could go back some. They're saying it a little bit.
But I got a question. So do they have their own government with their own policing and own military?
No, brother. They don't. They're not even.
That's what I'm saying though. So what are they? How they gonna run shit without that?
Well, they probably believe that they could develop it once they started to, but they never had any time.
But the problem here is that Israel is governed and all that shit. Even if they gave them a split, well, they denied the split, and they probably said, "Fuck it, we finna just."
No. But the split would have been like that land. Y'all run that land.
Here,
Israel wouldn't run that.
Let's go back a few.
That's two-state solution. And one state would be Israel. Is like Israel runs everything, and y'all could be wherever y'all, but we run shit.
Go back right there, and maybe our questions will be answered. Press play.
Toward Israel maybe someday withdrawing from the Palestinian territories and allowing an independent Palestine.
See, we're gonna let them be independent.
The Oslo Accords established the Palestinian Authority.
That's their
allowing
government.
Palestinians a little bit of freedom to govern themselves in certain areas. Hardliners on both sides oppose
Palestinian governance, Israel security.
Members of Hamas launched suicide bombings.
See, but that's the problem because that's the
West Bank. That's by area. Oh, did you see that? Okay, so
that's the West
So
Bank.
in Area
They're
A,
supposed to have that.
No, look. And this is what it says. In Area A, Palestinians were civil and they had their own security, self-rule. And in Area B, Palestinians had civil governance and Israel was the security control. So they was in control of the security. And in Area C, Israel controls all security and all governance. So
see, but that's the problem.
So I'm believing Area C is probably Israel. So they control all of Israel. The Area B is probably areas that they share, maybe.
Supposed to be West
because
Bank?
it's Palestinian civil governance, so it's governed or civilly
He
governed
said that
by
at the beginning
Palestine.
when people were coming in, moving in with the cheap houses and religion reasons, so that might be B.
After they did.
No,
they said
okay,
after
that's
that
probably
war,
B because Israel.
But
has
that's the problem
security
though, because they're supposed to control West Bank, but they didn't agree to that though.
But see, I can see why. I can see. Well,
see, I think the problem is, bro. Even if you do give these people control this land and this dude control this land, like imagine if we put this in terms like America and we try to do this with race, and like the black people go stay over there, the white people go stay over there, and then the black person moves right there, and the white person, it's not ever gonna be. There's still gonna be problems.
True.
So I think the only way that I've seen they just have to live together in peace.
Yeah, you might be right.
Because you couldn't do that. That doesn't make sense. Like, okay, this is our black neighborhood. This is our white neighborhood. This is our Asian neighborhood. And if you move over here and you're a Mexican or you're Asian or you're a black person, then that's bad. You can't do that. And this and that. It's like we might take a page out of America's book here and just all live in peace. But they ain't gonna do that. So
it's a reason why they ain't not gonna do that because everybody feel like that's their land. So at the end of the day, it's only two solutions.
But I feel like the government gotta get better control of what's going on. But
if they take control, then everybody gonna be more mad.
Yeah, I know.
So it's either
a two-state government solution.
But they don't.
If they under two, stop. If it's two states, they're still gonna be under one country, like America. We got multiple states, and it's under one government over one country.
So that's what they don't want. That must be the problem.
They don't want that. They don't want that.
So they want like two countries that border each other with their own government.
Yeah, I think that was the two-state two-state solution. I think that's what they meant by state. They didn't mean like United States.
Yeah.
They meant like that.
Yeah,
like that's y'all the area. Y'all govern
But
yourself.
I said they all together. They call Israel though.
No, that's the one-state
But
solution.
I
It's
know.
all together.
Let's watch the rest of the video. Maybe our questions will be answered.
Because I thought both of them
Let's
were
watch the
together
video.
and
Let's
it's
watch the
Israel,
video.
and they just put Palestine and the Gaza as the second states for the Palestinians.
Bro,
and they all as
did you
a
not
country.
just see that, Taj?
They all as a one country.
That's a one-state solution. What are you talking about?
Taj.
I thought they were one. No,
Just press play. I really want to
Israel
see.
controls.
that's
This
West
is not,
Bank.
This is the
No,
accord
that's
that they
Israel.
tried to agree to. This
No,
is
that's
not
West
accurate.
Bank.
That
That's
is
the
West
accord
Bank.
that they tried to agree to.
Yeah, then they killed. They killed.
that did not get agreed to.
Just press play because this is leading up to the second uprising, and this is what led to
First
it.
step toward Israel maybe someday withdrawing from the Palestinian territories and allowing an independent Palestine.
So this was the first step to let them be independent. Is what this was,
The
and they
Oslo Accords
couldn't agree.
established the Palestinian Authority.
That's gonna be their
allowing
government.
Palestinians a little bit of freedom to govern themselves.
But that's the
in
problem.
certain areas.
Okay, that's why this is the first one they didn't.
See, but this was
Hardliners
this
on
was the
both
first
sides
step.
opposed
Yeah.
the Oslo
But we about to see why it failed. We about to
Members
see
of
why it failed.
Hamas
We about
launched
to see why it
suicide
failed.
bombings to try to sabotage
Pause.
the process.
You already just said Hamas
The
started
Israeli
blowing
right.
shit up. They started
Yes.
suicide bombing.
Yes.
They ruined it. Literally, if we look at this, so what I'm starting to gather
They ruined
is
the peace.
what I'm starting to gather
This
is
is still a problem.
No, listen. What I'm starting to gather. Listen to what he said. He said
They're trying.
this was a compromise, a first step.
They're
No,
trying,
listen though. This was a first step of Palestine getting independence and having their own governance. And Hamas came and blew shit up and ruined it.
We know that's the problem.
And then
For
you heard,
peace.
then listen. And then he also goes on to say,
But tell
that,
me,
no, listen.
is this
he
a
goes on to
compromise?
say, that a far right Israeli murdered the president who put this in place. So on
Hamas
both
trying to
sides,
get him, yeah, and yeah.
no.
They both.
Hamas went and
both.
ruined this shit, and then on the Israeli side, they were so mad about this that one of their crazed people in Israel,
Extremists.
yeah, he was a far right. They said he went and shot and killed their president who tried to give them agreeing. So really, we're starting to see that
bad
both
apples on
sides
both
have
sides.
some friction
We know.
here.
Yeah.
Like,
And
this, I'm starting to assume this is probably because of what we saw happen in the first uprising. They said thousands of Palestinians died, so they were probably at ease, and the Palestinians were having an uprising, so they were probably attacking the Jewish settlements and all that stuff, which probably left a bad taste on both sides. So both sides are pissed off. They said that Hamas was formed because the government, the Palestinian government, was too compromising. They didn't want to compromise no more. They was like, "Fuck that. We just gonna try to destroy all this." That's crazy.
I'm gonna give it 100 though.
That's
If you
crazy.
If this
Buddy,
was the
but look,
compromise, I would be
this is
upset.
a gift
Bro,
because Israel
Solomon.
fought for it and they got it. So
Solomon.
that's like America. We fought for this
Solomon.
land and this is our land in America.
This is
and
them.
Mexico comes and say, "Can we get some? Here's some." Oh, that's not enough.
No, that's true. That's
That's
true.
exactly like that.
what
They
this-
just say, "Fuck you, you don't get shit because you can't zip us."
No, listen.
They didn't do that.
What
did.
we're
They was
looking
being
at
fair.
right here? What we're looking at right here is their first step at being free. If this would have
Right.
worked, we don't know what it could have developed into today. They could have.
And the fact that they were
could've got
entertaining
way
that.
more. Like they were literally. This was America. Like, look, we're gonna try to help y'all stop this conflict. We're gonna step in. Let's come to a compromise. This was the compromise that was supposed to happen. And then Hamas came, started blowing stuff up, and the Israelis was so mad at their president they went and murdered him. So let's watch the rest of this because we haven't made passes and see what also happens because. A lot of our questions are being answered right before us, but we just keep talking and not really
We
like.
should have watched.
I got-
We have to retain what's being said in front of us.
I got one question. We gotta see the map because I think it's two states that's under one country.
That's one state solution, bro.
No, bro, because
The
they
whole-
still
okay,
govern
We'll
there.
go back. Let's go back after
let's
we finish.
just
Let's
watch-
just finish the video, please. Please, I really want to see the rest.
bombings to try to sabotage the process. The Israeli right protests peace talks with ralliers calling Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin a traitor and a Nazi.
Prime Minister.
Not long after Rabin signs the second round of Oslo Accords, a far-right Israeli shoots him to death in Tel Aviv.
That's crazy.
This violence showed how extremists on both sides can use violence to derail peace, keep a permanent conflict going as they seek the other side's total destruction.
Yeah.
That's a dynamic that's been around ever since. Negotiations meant to hammer out the final details on peace drag on for years, and a big Camp David summit in 2000 comes up empty. Palestinians come to believe peace isn't coming, rise up in a second intifada, this one much more violent than the first. By the time it wound down a few years later, about 1,000 Israelis and 3,200 Palestinians had died.
Wow.
The second intifada really changes the conflict. Israelis become much more skeptical that Palestinians will ever accept peace or that it's even worth trying. Israeli politics shift right. The country builds walls and checkpoints to control
pause.
Palestinians' movements.
See what I'm saying?
Trying to solve
now?
the
So
conflict
Taj is
anymore.
right.
Just manic.
That Oslo Accord was in the West Bank. So I see why there was some friction on the Palestinian side. Not saying it was justified, but they were still saying that like, we'll give y'all some governance, but we're gonna still govern some of this stuff, and this is supposed to be y'all land. You know what I'm saying?
It's a two-state party.
That's a problem.
But they fought for that.
No, but I think what they were fighting for is to get away from this. I think because what we're describing is the one state. I think.
No.
Because when they had the two and half, that was the two states.
That's the two, because it's the green and the blue.
Let me not stand up. But you can see the areas, Area A, Area B, Area C, and that's the West Bank. That's supposed to be Palestine. So.
Yeah.
But as we know, though,
it
is governed by Israel. Like West Bank and Gaza is governed by Israel.
That's why I said
we have to know why.
No, these are two different things, bro. You're getting confused. You are extremely confused.
They won
that is the first one. We're looking at the second one now.
What are you talking about? No,
Brother,
the Oslo Accord.
This is not the second one.
This isn't.
This is just a zoom out. The
that's the same thing.
The Oslo Accord zooms in on where the areas where they were gonna let the governance.
Yo, but that said 1993, and we was in 2000.
You see those greens?
That's when the first Oslo Accord came into place.
Those are the same
I know.
greens.
I know, but they were all the way in 2000 where they kept trying to get deals done. That was 7 years later.
But they were probably offering the same shit.
They have,
but they were debating it. That's what I'm saying. They debating it at least.
But I mean, you're right. I mean,
I'm
they
confused.
should.
What are you saying?
Well, I was just saying like that they were in talks of trying to get them what they wanted. Like they
were, but like
think about
they
this
were trying to give Palestine their own government, and their own government probably if it was successful in having peace and you know this whole area could probably be governed by Palestine. But this is West Bank we're looking at right here, and this is supposed to be Palestinian land, right? It's barely governed by Palestine based on these areas, and then it's complete on the outskirts. It's still completely governed by Israel and security controlled by Israel.
But he's saying they won. You know, they won the fight. I mean, which they did. I mean, they can do what they want to. You know, and they're teamed up with America. What they gonna do? Yeah, but I can see why it's fucked up. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But like they showed love and still gave them land. Like they could have just won and said.
But that was the land they were supposed to have in the first agreement of the two-state solution, which led to the.
It's so deep though. It's so deep.
Which led to the Six-Day War.
They probably already living in these places, so it's kind of I don't know, bro. It's kind of like y'all treating us like kind of like y'all treating us like shit. Like we don't really like It's just.
But they fought for that land. Like that's their land. At the end of the day, it's like they could have did whatever they want to. At the end of the day,
I ain't gonna lie, they did go to war for the land.
They fought for that.
They fought off 3 or 4 Arab nations and won the land, and then they took up more land after they won the war, and they signed a peace treaty and gave that land back
and showed love to them.
What year was that?
1968. No, was that 1968?
No, but I remember. I don't know. I mean, but I remember. Yeah, I remember seeing that.
If we gonna be keeping it 100,
let's just watch the rest of the video.
Let's keep it 100. If somebody took over a land,
let's reconvene.
Hardliners on both.
I just probably think of.
Can I say one thing? If we gonna be mad about this, everybody should be mad at America, like a lot of people is.
That's what I said.
But you can't. It's like
about the Native Americans.
This is real life. Like
we took their land.
We went to war for Texas with Mexico.
So like,
that's what I'm saying.
So like,
that's
the same thing. Like it's just we living in a more modern society that we're supposed to be more humanitarians and supposed to be more civil. But you know,
humans are still humans.
That was well said.
That was.
Keep a permanent conflict going as they seek the other side's total destruction. That's a dynamic that's been around ever since. Negotiations meant to hammer out the final details on peace drag on for years, and a big Camp David summit in 2000 comes up empty. Palestinians come to believe peace isn't coming, rise up in a second intifada, this one much more violent than the first. By the time it wound down a few years later, about 1,000 Israelis and 3,200 Palestinians had died. The second intifada really changes the conflict. Israelis become much more skeptical that Palestinians will ever accept peace or that it's even worth trying. Israeli politics shift right. The country builds walls and checkpoints to control Palestinians' movements.
Oh, wow.
They're not really trying to solve the conflict anymore, just to manage it. The Palestinians
like
are left feeling like negotiating didn't work and violence didn't work, and that they're stuck under an ever-growing occupation with no future as a people. That year,
they bombed them,
Israel withdraws from Gaza.
Different
Hamas gains power, but splits from the Palestinian Authority in a short civil war dividing Gaza
Bro,
from the West.
stop acting like Hamas and Palestine is the same people, though, bro. You keep saying they bombed them, nigga.
Bro.
Hamas bombed them.
But they gave them their own governed land, and once they did that, they still attacked them, bro.
But Gaza, Hamas is in Gaza. That's nowhere near the West Bank where
But
the
like,
own government land is at.
if you govern that land and you gave people, just look at this.
I'm listening. But I'm about to say something. If you listen to what he's about to say, because he just said Gaza and Hamas split from the Palestinian Authority, which is the government. So that basically means they on their own over there.
For sure, I believe you on that. But like,
listen, say what you gonna say.
If I'm governing the land and I'm showing you love, and I broke y'all off in
But
states.
you ain't show love. I mean, but you did.
I didn't have to show love.
They keep 700,000 people.
But I didn't have to show love.
Say,
I fought for that. I didn't have to show you no love. I put my money and my bread and my army stepped on you. I showed you love. I tried to give you land and property, and you decided to bomb on me. Like, how I'm supposed to feel about that?
Yeah. I can't.
And how I'm supposed to feel about that? I'm supposed to just let you blow my shit up and
it's the principle.
You see what I'm saying? Like, we gotta really keep it 100 with each other, though.
I can see why.
principle.
I can see why maybe there was a problem with the Oslo Accord. Like, I do see how they did try to give them their own government and let them have some control. But the West Bank was supposed to be Palestine's. And I can see how Israel still being in control of the majority of it and still being controlling what's going on. And that's supposed to be Palestine. And they're supposed to be giving them their own independence. And they're still not independent if they're being controlled. You know what I'm saying? I can see how that caused some friction.
Yeah.
But they're under their land, though. No, listen. That's what's messing me up. That's what's messing me up.
But that doesn't justify Hamas tweaking out and sending suicide bombers. And then on the Israel side, they killed their prime minister for trying to give them peace.
Gotta act like
like he said in the video, we have seen people on both sides at this point use violence to stop peace, which has derailed everything. All the peace talks has led to fighting. And Israel basically at this point in the video from the conflict has basically said we done trying to fight y'all. We done doing this, and they built the walls up. Trying to just manage the situation. Like, look, y'all just gonna live in these walls.
Because it was at war. You usually act like they just did that because there was no violence going on.
Yeah, there was plenty of violence.
It was damn near war over there. That's why they had to build that shit.
So we're not gonna act like the video we watched yesterday off the middle ground when all the Palestinian people said that their people was killed. So that's love?
Bro, but listen
though. Is that love?
Listen though.
Me?
But the other dude said he had to listen to 27 people too. True. People died on both sides.
But he was...
he was not justified?
People have died on both sides.
But listen though,
we gotta look at it from this angle though. Israel has money, they have guns, they have everything. So when the weaker side, which is Palestine, they start throwing rocks and fighting, boom.
You gotta play your role at that point.
You take a freaking boulder to a gunfight, who gonna win?
Look,
go get your gun, I'm gonna throw a rock at you, shoot me. People who gonna die?
I'm gonna die. Have walked in houses and probably shot them.
Oh yeah.
People have said that.
Yeah, maybe.
So I can't say that's love. You feel me?
But then they
said 700,000 people
on that same breath, the January 7th. So it's both sides. There's both sides. That's what I'm saying.
We know that. But we can't. I'm just saying.
October 7th?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
We can't say they were showing love like they should have just stuck out with what they had. Like, you know what I'm saying? They being treated like
I'm just saying, keep it 100.
I do.
They won that land. I feel you on that. I feel you on that.
Okay, I'll say this.
I
personally thought it was a little strange when they said we're gonna give Gaza and the West Bank to Palestine, right? And then they said settlers start moving in. Why are y'all moving in? Y'all have all that other land.
That's the problem.
That's my point. Legit on a legit note. I'm literally looking at that and saying what caused y'all to move in if y'all have more land than them? You know what I'm saying? Why are y'all moving there? Y'all already know there's some friction between y'all.
It's kind of greedy.
That's the thing to me, though, y'all.
Okay, I just think that's kind of weird. And
that's the problem to me, though.
That's probably why Israel is trying to maintain security control, because I would assume in those areas where Israel's maintaining the governance and security control, it's probably an area with high amount of settlers, which is probably why the Palestinians feel they've been done so wrong, because it's supposed to be our land, and now y'all got settlers moving in, and y'all using y'all security and y'all governance to basically control this area
and
that's supposed to be ours.
I wouldn't like that.
No, I can see how that could cause some friction personally.
At the end of the day,
to me, it just doesn't make sense. That's supposed to be their side. Y'all have y'all side. Y'all have more.
See, that's my point though. That's my point that I'm saying though. That is not at all feasible. And if you think about running a country, it's not feasible to say, here's the line. Y'all stay over here. Y'all stay over here, and don't mix. That's just never gonna work. In one country, does that happen? I can't think of another country that's peaceful. That's not a third world country.
Build borders.
That's what I'm saying, but there needs to be a different country. Y'all can't live in the same country, and this is the line, and if a white person comes over here, or a person from over here comes over here, and we mix, then that's a problem. Because that's not going to work. In society, in the world,
But Israel
that
started that.
Well, brothers.
Because they started coming into the land.
But they
that's what they after everybody got to live together, is my point.
Wait.
That's my point.
Wait a minute.
They do got to live together, though.
Jim Crow. Blacks over there, whites over here.
That wasn't a good thing, because that looked at life in the black communities.
Wait a minute now, brother. You said it wouldn't work. It worked.
For who?
You're right.
For one side.
You're so right. Actually, when you just got my ass. Checkmate. Uno checkmate. I'm good shit right now. Who did it work for? You're right. You're right.
A short civil war, dividing under an ever-growing occupation with no future as a people.
Hold on, can we pause it?
on.
I think I got one thing.
1 minute.
I was just saying though that was a thing, and I was just trying to poke a hole, but you got me.
So this is
I
a
wasn't
two-state
justifying
under
Jim
one
Crow,
country.
guys. Was not justifying Jim Crow. I like to say. All right, say what you had to say.
It's a two-state under one country.
Well, bro.
Let's just
Yeah, let's watch the video. We done said enough.
Because we don't know yet.
We done said enough.
It is. It have to be.
Let's wrap it up.
I know, but I'm saying that's
Two countries
No.
under one
No,
country.
it's two states under one country.
It's two states under one country.
That's literally what it is.
That's what I just said.
Palestine doesn't want that though. They want their own country.
Yes.
Okay.
Negotiating didn't work, and violence didn't work, and that they're stuck under an ever-growing occupation with no future as a people. That year, Israel withdraws from Gaza. Hamas gains power, but splits from the Palestinian Authority in a short civil war, dividing Gaza from the West Bank. Israel puts Gaza under a suffocating blockade, and unemployment rises to 40%. This is the state of the conflict as we know it today. It's relatively new, and it's unbearable for Palestinians. In the West Bank, more and more settlements are smothering Palestinians, often respond with protests and sometimes with violence, though most just want normal lives. In Gaza, Hamas and other violent groups have periodic wars with Israel. The fighting overwhelmingly kills Palestinians, including lots of civilians. In Israel itself, most people have become apathetic. For the most part, the occupation keeps the conflict relatively removed from their daily lives, with moments of brief but horrible violence. There's little political will for peace. No one really knows where the conflict goes from here. Maybe a third intifada, maybe the Palestinian Authority collapses. But everyone agrees that things as they are now can't last much longer. Israel's occupation of the Palestinians is too unstable to last, and that unless something dramatic changes, whatever comes next will be much worse.
You know, I'm not going off. Well, okay.
Well, hey, didn't the video yesterday, didn't the Palestinians said there was not citizens under Israel?
Yeah. What you mean?
Say it again.
They said they wasn't citizens under Israel.
Because they live under blockades and stuff.
That's crazy. That's a problem. Then if they're getting governed by them and they're not considered citizens.
But didn't they say that didn't we learn that they worked there or had to go there to work or something?
Yeah, they do.
So
But that's why the ones in Gaza are so poor, because they're the ones living behind the blockade.
Yeah,
but they have to be because Hamas is there.
Yeah, so it's a very hard
They
situation.
have to be. But did you see how I said, you gotta see how I said when they showed the map and they said settlers are there. If you look, go right there. Go right there. Right there. If you look, all those dots are settlers, and the blue area is where Israel is in control. I told you. That's gotta be where the settlers are at.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what it was.
That's a problem.
So I can see where the friction comes from.
Hell yeah.
But they tried to have peace, and neither side can come
This
to an
picture
agreement.
says it all right there.
Neither side can come to an agreement.
The
bro.
IDF is everywhere.
Bro, but they have to.
You don't know,
bro.
he might have just threw a grenade.
They have to, bro.
Bro,
They
keeping it real.
Bro, they've tried for peace.
Have you seen the movie American Sniper? Keep it up. He don't know how
You think shit sweet over
You
there?
definitely do think shit sweet.
You think shit
He
sweet
thinks
over
shit
there?
sweet. He don't
Shit is
understand
not sweet over there, bro.
You do not understand it all,
we
bro.
judge a lot of shit that we don't
Bro,
know.
it's American 14, 13, 12, 11, 10-year-olds doing that. It's 10-year-olds in America spinning.
But to say
That's
he just threw a
everywhere.
grenade, like, bro.
No, I said he could have. I didn't say he
I'm just
did.
saying, like,
I'm saying he could.
That was crazy.
Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
I said he could've.
Like, we don't know. It's Palestinian Christians, Palestinian Jews. It's good peace. It's peaceful Palestinians. It's peaceful Jews.
I'm sure there is.
You can't
but
just say it's all of them
we
or
saw.
just, you know what I'm saying?
We saw.
Someone could just be in a fucked up situation and they want peace.
No, we just literally saw in the last 3 minutes.
We gonna call them Hamas?
We saw in the last 3 minutes that there is extremists on both sides. They literally killed their prime minister for trying to have peace.
It is, but I'm not gonna say he's a goddamn.
I didn't say that.
I'm not saying that. I never said that. I never said that. But I'm just saying. You saying like they could be peaceful.
I didn't say that. I said
peaceful
cool.
people. There definitely is peaceful people on both sides, but there's definitely extremists on both sides.
Yeah.
Hamas.
Definitely. I'm not, hey, look.
Far right people killing the prime minister.
This photo says a lot because I mean, bro, imagine like you got IDF security walking
bro.
around.
You have war.
I'm gonna say this, bro. I'm gonna say this, bro.
This is happening on a day-to-day in Palestine.
It's happening in Africa too, and you're not confident.
I'm gonna say this.
Yes. I mean, yeah.
No one's confident.
I'm gonna say this, brother.
No one's confident.
I'm gonna say this, brother. I'm gonna say this. They tried to give them peace. There tried to be peaceful agreements, and there's always a party on one of the sides that ruins it. Hamas has ruined the peace talks.
Yes.
They have ruined it yet again. I don't
you
know
have
where.
also
I
said-
don't know. Listen, I don't know where this goes from here. Literally,
don't either.
I've tried to acknowledge both, but now that I'm getting a backstory of the history, this had all the receipts in it.
But bro,
Hamas starts suicide bombing to stop the freaking bro. We don't know what this.
you have also said that was a problem.
I do think it's a problem.
Okay,
But
then.
they fought for that.
But they tried to give them peace, and it's got
But that's
worse
not.
from
That
there.
doesn't look like peace though.
Brother.
That doesn't look like
what I
peace
said
to me.
what I said was that them doing that in 1993. We don't know what that could look like today in 2023. That's 30 years ago. We don't know what that could have developed into. If they would have if they would have built their own country or built some type of governance and people falling in and they doing good, it probably could have spread. Israel probably could have been like, look, we're gonna back off. They could have probably had some peace treaties agreed with from their government to their government, and it could have built into something more. We don't know. We literally have no idea because Hamas blew. They had suicide bombers, and there was freaking far-right extremists in Israel that killed their prime minister. We literally don't know. That was a compromise. That was the first step in a compromise to giving them their own independence, and it was ruined
immediately.
So
how you supposed to trust them?
They killed the prime minister who tried to even agree to that, and then Hamas starts suicide bombing. How do you excuse that, Solomon?
And in my mind, if you doing that, I might govern your land
literally
too. On my land.
Literally, the one person on the side that y'all trying to fight with was like, look, we're gonna give y'all some compromise. The people in this country was so mad they killed them. That's a problem. Then on the other side, y'all suicide bombing, bro.
What you supposed to do?
That's a problem. Then in what they said in Camp David, they try to have some more peace, and they start tweaking out, having another uprising, shooting guns and fighting. Bro, I literally just don't know where this goes from here. Truly, I've been asking this the entire time. How do they have peace? I don't know. If you got people like Hamas that's gonna come blow stuff up, and you got people inside Israel that's gonna kill the prime minister for having compromise. That's crazy. They don't
want peace.
That literally,
they don't.
They said they built these walls and stuff.
Who doesn't want peace?
They said, listen.
Nobody.
That's what he said. That's what he said. No, listen, he said they built these walls and all that, the blockades and all that, just so like they could just manage it. They're not trying to compromise no more. They're like, look, we just gonna manage this. They said the walls keep all these fighting and violence out of the people that live on the outside of the walls, keeps it out of their life. But the people on the inside of the walls are suffering. Hamas is to blame for that, literally.
Yeah.
Literally, Hamas is to blame for that.
Because why isn't this situation happening in any other of these countries? Bro?
I do understand that we saw the settlers and stuff being protected by Israeli government.
What, bro? Say
but that was a compromise.
Bro, it's because they're not caged, bro.
What are you talking about? They're not caged,
bro. You talking about why isn't this happening in any other countries? It's
okay, so before that.
It's because people could travel where they want to go. These people are literally being stopped.
Hamas is freaking in there, bro. They're suicide bombing. You seen what they did on January?
No.
We seen what they did on October 7th when they get out of those walls.
Are they not caging the West Bank?
No. West Bank is not in the cage.
They are peaceful.
West Bank, listen, the problem in West Bank is they're being smothered by settlers. That's the problem. He said that.
Yeah.
But they tried to give the people in West Bank their own government, and it backfired. Hamas started suicide bombing. They killed the prime minister. We don't know if Hamas does the suicide bomb, right? Let's say that the prime minister still dies. They said in 2000 at Camp David, whoever's the new prime minister of Israel was trying to find some more peace, and they couldn't come to something. Stop on Camp David. I just want to hear what they said about Camp David. Don't go back no further.
Palestinians come to believe peace isn't coming.
Go back a little bit more.
Rise up in a second intifada. This has been around ever since. Negotiations meant to hammer out the final details on peace drag on for years, and a big Camp David summit in 2000 comes up empty.
Nothing. Damn.
Palestinians come to believe peace isn't coming. Rise up in a second.
Why don't Palestinians have peace?
Because, bro,
they can't come to an agreement.
The Oslo Accord was ruined.
No one can come to an agreement.
I don't know who the new prime minister was, but he probably was like, I don't know what we can do. I don't know what we.
You
can
saying
do.
like you make like they don't have peace? You make like they don't have peace because the Israelites are just, or the Israel people are just like, we don't want y'all to have peace.
Yeah, man.
I mean, when you come settling our shit, it kind of like.
But they
It's not their shit. We gave you it. If I give you this, it's still mine. I gave it to you.
But listen though.
They didn't give it to
Listen,
them.
Solomon.
He said it they shit. I let you tell it my shit.
Listen though.
He did.
I'm gonna take the book.
Listen, Solomon.
So they say right there.
Before you say what you gotta say,
700,000 people.
It was their
They
shit.
fought for it.
they went to war for that. Do you understand what led to the Nakba?
Yeah,
Which led them.
That's like in America. Put America in their shoes, bro.
No, listen.
That's
I'm
like
gonna tell you. You wanna know what led to the Nakba?
Can we not?
No, Solomon. Do you wanna know what led to 700,000 people leading? 4 Arab nations coming to attack on their behalf. They fought and won. They said, look, they just tried to zero us on y'all behalf.
With
now we have to go.
Look.
Get out.
Everything in this right now. I agree with everything y'all saying. They have the right. But do Palestinian people not have the right to feel some type of way?
They do. They do.
They do.
That's all I'm asking.
Listen.
They do.
Do they or do they not?
They do.
Solomon.
Do they or do they not?
But they lost
They
their
can feel
land.
how they want, but if you have no feasible options,
Solomon,
we need to
did
find
you,
a way to
Did you
live
hear
in
what
peace.
happened after the war? All those countries that lost their shit in the war came to a civil peace
Agreement
treaty
with
and got their
Israel.
shit back.
Yes, they did.
Who has not come to a civil agreement?
Yeah.
Yet.
Only one.
Only one group of people have yet to
And
come
all
to
these other
and
groups.
then when they tried to start, they said this was the first half, the first part. The first part.
So
No, listen. They said the Oslo Accord with all those green areas, the dark and light green. That was where they said.
So they never offered them the whole West Bank.
Can I
They never did they not have offered them the whole West Bank?
No, because listen.
So
can I fucking say what I'm about to say before you say what
I'm not
say?
taking that shit either. I'm not taking that shit.
Nigga, can
You
I say what
offer
I'm
me
about to
that?
say?
You offer me that?
Shit.
I'm
They
not
had to
taking-
offer you
Nigga,
that.
they leave.
Listen.
Like you supposed to.
Can I say what I'm about to
That's
say? Let me say what I'm about to say. This was in the green areas, even the dark and light green. That is where there's no settlers really. There's no really that many settler dots. That's where the first step of them having peace and their own independence. That's where it was. They have their the place where the settlers are is governed and secured by them. They have to make sure those people are secure. So if those green areas would have came out and had their own government and built a government and built some peace on their behalf, who knows what this would have happened? They could have got the green could have spread it. We don't know. We'll literally never know now.
Also, another thing, bro, and like, think
If you have a problem with that,
think about
it's
it
a
realistically,
problem. But
right?
like, nigga, you could build it in something. That government could have came with Israel and said, look, can we have some more land? We've governed this area with peace. It's grown. We're thriving. We want to. This is supposed to be the West Bank of Palestine. This is what we've agreed on. Let's have the land. Let us govern all of it. We'll take care of the people that live here among us. Israel will be like, okay, we can live together peacefully.
Yeah, bro.
And for example, bro, like black people.
Oh my
black
gosh,
people did not
that's a
get
great
all their
agreement.
rights at one time. It wasn't like one day black people get all their rights and they had to fight for this. They got guns. Then they got their right to vote.
So we
then they got
compare-
school.
so we
then they got
compare-
immigration to schools. Then we got this and that.
So
I was talking about. I'm not
comparing
gonna
to
know.
oppressed race,
I'm not
then.
trying to compare. I'm just saying.
He's just-
if
he's
if
giving
you
it
are
a
being
timeline.
oppressed, it comes.
It takes
It
a step.
doesn't. It's not just gonna be like press button. No press button pressed.
Listen, yes.
It's not gonna happen. It's gonna take time.
This was the first step.
That's what he's trying to say.
That's-
You said, "Oh, we don't want that." He said, "Oh, we don't want that." So you don't want no sex.
Nigga, that's like saying and when we were Jim Crow, we're gonna have all color bathrooms and y'all can go to school. People fought against that, but that was the first step.
They got to go.
That was the first step.
Look,
now we can go to school. White
I agree
people
with
go take
everything
a
y'all
shit
saying.
wherever you have to go.
I agree with everything y'all are saying.
We go to school. We go to school with anybody.
Y'all could. I mean, look, man. I just feel
That's
like
just an example,
if
though.
you giving me
That's just an
I'm
example.
not
though.
comparing. I'm
giving
just
me
giving an example.
That's just an
spots
example, though.
of land. Goddamn, give me look. Y'all could have gave
Buddy,
me.
fight for it and win. Fight for it and win.
Okay. Y'all could have gave
Solomon.
me the top 1/3.
Solomon.
You're giving me spots.
That's the same thing. That's the same thing as when they let us integrate. We were integrated in certain areas.
Yes.
And when they started showing that, this is not so
More
bad.
and more.
It
More and
spread.
more. More and more.
Wow. This is
happened all at once.
This is no, stop, because you're not listening.
Yeah,
This
you're
was
not.
the first step of them getting their independence and having their own government. They want to get under. They want to get from under Israel's governance.
Okay.
This was the first step.
So do
It
they
was.
not? Okay, but
It was.
So
What's
do
that?
they
What can you
not
not
have a right to fight for what they want?
Listen, Solomon.
Do they have a right for that? Yes or no?
Solomon.
Do they have a right for that? Yes or no?
Do you think that
That's what I'm asking.
violent acts, when blowing shit up,
Brother,
is
we
going
did
to
it.
solve anything?
We did it.
We didn't blow up shit.
Bro,
we was not suicide bombing.
Bro, we was suicide bombing.
We was not doing terroristic
saying?
attacks
They
so we
want-
can go to
they're doing
school
street.
with
They're
other
doing
people.
street.
And building military bombs
But we
under
was not
hospitals.
doing that. We had people
fighting against something that they believed in. They're doing the same shit. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So do they not have?
We
so
had
do you not have a right to do that?
History's written by the winners. So if you lose,
Solomon, I'm gonna
then
say
you
this.
lost.
I'm gonna
I'm
say
asking
this.
that.
I'm gonna say this.
Do they have
A
a right?
lot of
Yes or
black
no?
people fought in peaceful protest. We were not getting guns and going in the street
yeah, a lot of
and
them did.
shooting
A lot
black
of them did.
people.
and that's
A
what
lot
did
of
it.
them
And
did.
that's
We
what
were
did it.
not.
That's what did it.
There was civil disobedience, as in black people getting on the bus. Rosa Parks, that was civil disobedience.
Is this
She did
not
not
the same?
physically
Is
assault
it not
somebody.
peaceful Palestinians like it's? Like, is it not the same thing?
No,
the
it's
black-
not. October 7th was not the same thing. It's
October
that.
7th
Bro,
was
but
not peaceful.
you're comparing that there's all Palestinians. It's peaceful.
I'm not-
we're talking
all
about the Gaza,
Palestinians.
bro.
It's
We're
peaceful
talking
black
about
people,
Gaza,
and
bro.
It's peaceful Palestinians.
We're talking
But
about
Solomon,
Gaza, bro.
But Solomon, we're talking about what happened. They said Hamas started suicide bombing. That's going to hinder this from then. That suicide bombings probably made Israel think we cannot reason with these people, which made the people inside of Israel so radical that they tweaked out and went and murdered the prime minister who tried to bring peace. This was the first step in them getting independence.
So yeah, okay.
This was the first step in them getting their own governance.
If
from
you
under
disagree with
Israel.
this first step, what do you think would have been the better first step?
Yeah, what do you think? Would they just give them it all?
Hold on,
I just feel like
let-
they shouldn't have gave y'all spots, bro. I feel like they should
Bro,
at least give
Solomon,
one third of the
look-
West Bank.
look, Solomon,
Something.
I'm gonna
no,
explain
give us
to
a
you.
whole
Hold on,
fraction
hold
of
on,
the
hold on,
land.
quick,
Let me
quick,
say
quick.
it.
Let me say this.
Hold on.
I'm gonna tell you
Hold
why.
on.
No, let me say this real quick. I'm gonna tell you why they gave them.
He explained it in
spots.
the video.
Look at those dots.
Yes.
Those are where settlers are.
Yes.
All the blue that's under Israel's governance and security is where the settlers are. They have to make sure that Israelis, people that are under the Israeli nation, are safe.
But
so
then-
their security, they have to live under their governance because they're
Hold on,
Israeli.
hold on,
so
bro.
they moved
Hold on,
in
hold
there.
on,
Look
hold on,
at the areas
hold on,
where
y'all.
where there's green.
Let me
There's
say
not
something.
that many
Let me say something,
settlers.
y'all. Let me say something, y'all. They did not come to the agreement. Why? Because one side did not agree. So
Both-
once they did not agree, they began to
moved
move
in.
there because they didn't agree. You didn't
Yeah,
agree.
yeah,
So
I
I'm not going to give you something you didn't agree to. If you'd agreed to it, maybe they would have stayed out. But since you didn't agree to it, yeah, they can move there.
And
you
then
didn't
wa-
agree to it.
Then you watch the video.
So what I'm saying, what was
listen.
the agreement though?
The agreement was going to be this, but those settlers weren't going to go there because that was going to be their land.
So
the West Bank,
why
the
give
whole
us
West
spots
Bank.
if the settlers were
Because they
there?
did not agree to
Solomon.
it. They did not agree to it.
Solomon.
They said, since you don't want to
Solomon.
agree, well, fuck it then. We gonna go there then. Since you don't want to agree.
Solomon,
And that's what they did.
This is what happened. I'm about to tell you.
According to the video.
I'm about to tell you. The settlers moved in. Israel has to protect their own. That's why they have the blue spots that are under Israeli security and governance. They're protecting their own. There's not that many blue spots in the green areas. Why is that? That's because that's mostly Palestinians. They're giving them their own. And look, the spots that are close to the settlers is still under Palestinian governance, but it's under Israeli security. So they're just securing the areas to make sure there's no friction.
Y'all people over there. Yes, y'all should.
Okay,
Yes.
so if this compromise would have been successful, we don't know what this could have spread to. If they could have proved that the Palestinian government is peaceful and can act like, okay, we can all live cohesively. I'm sure they could have came as two government entities and came to another compromise and got the whole land. That is what I'm saying. But that never happened because as soon as they started doing this, they said Hamas started suicide bombing, which probably caused civil unrest in Israel, which led to the prime minister being killed, which shitted on this whole situation. That is the problem. What part of this is not clicking in your brain? Literally, he said it in the video.
Look.
He said it in the
I
video.
literally have said I agree with everything y'all are saying. I don't know why y'all.
Because you keep saying, well, shouldn't they fight for that? Brother, what has fighting done in the whole fucking timeline? It has led to more problems for the Palestinians.
I'm saying, but people act like, well, why are they fighting? That's what I'm talking.
Well,
for those people,
we can
why
see
are they
why they're
fighting?
fighting.
Why? Oh, that's all I'm saying. Do y'all see why they fighting?
Yes!
All right, that's all we've been arguing right here.
No, they're not going to a war. They're not like a war fighting. They just going to kill innocents and thinking that's going to help them. So no, I don't see why. I don't see that. I do not at all see why they're doing that.
October the 7th.
Like that's not an act. Like if you think that's going to help you get your land back, well then you a dumbass.
They cause
but
more
they're doing that
destruction.
off the strength of
They causing more
Is
destruction.
it going to help you?
killing their
Is it going to help
innocent
you?
Palestinians.
Is it going to help your
people,
cause? Is it going to help your cause?
though. But they've been killing their people too.
Is it going to help your cause?
Yes
But they've been killing their
Is it
people.
going to
Yes or
help your
no?
cause?
No.
Listen, bro,
So
So if it's not going to help your cause, it's not
So
going to
why
help
did
your
the
cause.
IDF just come in there killing them? Then?
We don't fucking know.
We don't know
have
why
no
this
So
idea.
that's what I'm saying. So y'all arguing
What are
for
you
some
talking
shit y'all
about?
don't know.
What are you talking about?
Brother,
They
you
coming
the
in
one
and
that's
killing them. What are you
arguing.
talking about? What are you talking
You the
about?
one
They're
that's
doing the
arguing.
same thing, Brock.
What are you talking about? So
The
they're
IDF
killing
killing
babies in the cribs?
Palestinians.
Bro.
What are you talking about?
Brock.
Like,
What do you mean what I'm talking
Can you
about?
give us examples
We
of
just
them
watched-
invading them?
Yes,
they are on
Solomon,
defense.
Solomon, we just watched a video with receipts. Where did you see that the IDF was killing innocent people in this video?
The last video we watched.
Bro, he's
on the
talking
middle
about
ground.
that's different. Bro.
Innocent Palestinians
Okay.
have died.
We don't know if they was innocent.
We don't know what they.
So you're basically calling them all.
No. I said we don't know.
That's what you're
I said
saying.
we don't know. Is
We
me
don't-
saying I don't know?
we literally
Calling somebody
don't know.
something? I said I don't know.
All they said
The
was.
mothers, kids, little girls have died.
Okay, so
Listen,
those
that's
people,
bad.
those
That's
soldiers,
bad.
were
We're not
wrong.
saying that's
Little
not
girl that was
bad.
walking to the gate.
Their
and got
soldiers were
shot.
wrong. Those soldiers was wrong.
That's not
Those
what they
soldiers
said,
was
bro.
wrong.
That's not what they said. They said we lost every single one of them had
It's
lost
been
people.
stories of that.
Okay, but that's not what they
That
told in the
doesn't,
video.
but that makes those
That's not what
soldiers
they told
wrong.
in the
That
video.
doesn't. Okay, so those soldiers wrong. So since they're wrong, you spinning. Is that gonna help you in yours?
Listen,
No.
Solomon, none of us have sat here and tried to justify any of that. So I don't even know why you bring that up as an argument.
But
I
I'm
don't understand what even the point of you bringing that up was.
The people are trying to make it seem like one side more right than the other.
We're not saying that, but
I'm
if
gonna
we're-
keep it 100. I'm gonna keep it 100. They fought for that land.
All right, then, well,
That's their
like
land. They was nice
Well,
enough
but
to
I-
share that
well,
land with
like
them.
that.
And a activist group attacked them, so
What I'm saying is-
they don't trust them,
Nah.
so they locked them up and they try to keep
boom.
eyes on them.
Okay,
Is they
boom.
wrong for doing that?
What I'm trying to tell you is, to me, nice isn't pulling 700,000 people out their house,
But that's their
killing
land.
some,
But that's their land.
and going
That's it.
settling
They
on
went
their
to
land.
war.
That's not nice.
But they went to war
Solomon.
for that. They went to war for
4
that.
Arab nations attacked Israel on behalf
Yes.
of the people in there. They won. In order to protect themselves, they expelled them. That's probably what happened.
That's-
they probably
that's-
said, y'all have to leave.
that's common sense.
4 different countries just tried to come in here and kill all of us on y'all behalf. Y'all have to go.
So you think somebody invaded America? You think we gonna be able to still stay in this house?
Let's say this. We get this house, right? And the people that live here before, they're like, oh no, y'all not moving in. They pull up 700 dudes outside. We come up, we fight them off. You think we're gonna let them stay here?
Hell no.
All right then. Damn.
Hell no.
Damn.
They was nice enough to give him
Yeah,
a
they
room.
were, I guess.
They
They
gave him a room.
said, look, y'all can have that room in the back. They said,
Thank you.
come spin.
All right, guys,
We-
let us know what y'all think about that analogy and what is y'all counter argument for that.